friends, and welcome back. It is TBR time. July has just completely snuck up on me. I don't love the month of July, mostly because I live in Alabama and it is hot as Hades here. It's so hot. It's I think 93 today with a heat index of like 97 degrees Fahrenheit, and like even filming this video I'm already over here like, whew, okay. But it is time for a new TBR. I will be completely honest with you guys. I, once again, did not completely succeed at my TBR for June. I was planning to read a lot of indie. That was my goal, was to get a lot of indie reads done. And I didn't do that. I went kind of off the rails a little bit, read a lot of fan row, just kind of slumped pretty hardcore. Things got really busy in the month of June. There was a lot of stuff come up and I just did not get to read everything that I was hoping to read. I did decide to go through with the first publisher battle video, which I will link up here for you guys, and the results were not as expected, but that ended up being more books than I anticipated. So with all of that rambling aside, I do probably need to do 6 rolls once again for this video, which stinks, but it's okay. Like, that's fine. That's just more rolls, more fun to be had, right? Right. So I don't have a lot of things that I have to read in the month of July. I think the only 2 things that I can think of that are absolute must is the Indie Archive pick, which is Crimson Queen by Alec Hudson. Alec Hudson wrote The Umbral Storm, which I really enjoyed reading last year. And so I'm hopeful that we will also really enjoy this series as well. It is the Raveling Book 1. If you don't know what the Indie Archive Book Club is, it is a book club for my top 2 tier Patreons and Cassidy's top 2 tier Patreons that we read an indie book every other month, and we're going to be starting a series. So we're going to attempt to do this a whole series, but we'll see. It just kind of depends on if we like this first book or not. And then the other one that I have to read, we have somehow managed to kill the pages on. I need to read The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. This is the 4th book in the Wheel of Time series. I am a co-host for the Wheel of Time Along, hosted by Sandra from Got a Thing for Things, and we're on book 4. But book 4 is really long. It's like 900 and something pages in 41 hours. So I'm scared. This is going to take a lot of the month. This has got to get on the TBR because otherwise I don't know how I'm going to get it done. Like, that's a big boy. That's going to take me at least a week to read. So, I think other than that, I may be participating in Summerween, which is hosted by Gabby and Olivia. I haven't fully decided on that yet, but I do have some new release thrillers that I'm really hoping to get to, and I think that would be a fun time to do it. I don't have a lot of like plans otherwise in the month of July. I have a lot of vlogs that I need to get done, but I don't necessarily want to tell you guys what those vlogs are yet. So we're going to keep those on the down low. We're going to keep those a secret, and you're just going to have to watch to find out. So I guess without further ado, let's just jump into our rolls and see what the board has in store for me in July. All right, so TBR Bluff roll number 1. Looks like we have 2 6s, 2 1s, and a 2. So 2 6s and 2 1s is still on the board, and that is Dual Timeline. Do we choose Chaos or do we just go with Dual Timeline? I mean, things are starting to fill up, but Dual Timeline doesn't really, like, help me to clear the board, so I think I'm just going to choose Chaos. I'm going to re-roll the whole hand. So now we have 3 1s, a 3, and a 6, and 3 1s. 3 1s is not on the board. We have 4 1s, but not 3 1s. So I think I'm going to keep the 3 1s and re-roll the 3 and the 6, and let's see what we get. We got 4 1s. So 4 1s is a hybrid genre. I'm not sure if I wanted that or not, but we're going to do it anyway. So for 4 1s, we got hybrid genre. Okay, so for TBR Bluff roll number 1, we got 4 1s, and that ended up being a hybrid genre. So for this one, I did struggle just a little bit because I was trying to decide whether I wanted to do a fantasy romance or a sci-fi horror. I think I'm going to go with the sci-fi horror. We've been doing a lot of fantasy romance on this channel, and I feel like maybe we need a little bit of a breather from that. So I decided to go with, something in my eye. I decided to go with Parasite by Darcy Coates. This is one of her only sci-fi horrors, and I think that this is a collection of short stories that all kind of follow the same theme, but not necessarily the same characters, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure about that. I know that Kaylee read it and liked it, but didn't love it. It says, when a guard discovers an unusual life form her remote moon outpost. She disregards protocol to investigate with catastrophic consequences. There are aliens in this, probably alien parasites if I had to guess. Really like Darcy Coates' writing. It's been a while since I read some Darcy Coates, so I think we need to throw this on the TBR. Okay, TBR Bluff roll number 2. For that one, we got a 5, a 3, a 4, a 1, and a 6. So, yeah, I don't think we can do anything with that. We're just going to reroll the whole hand. 2 1s, a 6, a 2, and a 3. Guess we'll hold out the 2 1s and roll one more time. So, I think I'm going to have to use my free space for that one because that got us a 3, a 2, and a 6. And 2 1s is not on the board anymore, so it's either I use the free space or I have to add a roll. So we're going to use the free space and pray that that doesn't happen again. So author I've never read. TBR Bluff roll number 2 got us a free space because otherwise I would have had to add a roll, and I did not want to add a roll because next month is going to be rough. I have a feeling on adding rolls. That board is getting full. So what I think I'm going to do for this one is one that I just recently heard about, and that is the Daughters of Izdahir by Hadir Elsibai? Yeah, I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. Somebody tell me how to say that down in the comments, please. But this is a new release from Harper Voyager. It is Egyptian inspired, which I don't read a lot of, and so I'm excited to read some more Egyptian inspired books. I think it's following 2 different women who are trying to overcome the struggle and the rights of women and their ability to use forbidden elemental magic. I know that it is a duology. I'm very excited for this one. The cover is beautiful. I think that it just really screams like Egyptian mythology, so I'm excited to give this one a try. Okay, TBR Bluff roll number 3. That got us a 5, a 3, a 2, a 2, and a 1. So definitely going to keep those 2 2s. Now we have a 6, a 4, and a 1. I can't do anything with that. There are still 2 2s on the board, and it's new to the TBR, so I think I'm just going to stop there and use the 2 2s. And then for our next roll, we got 2 2s, and that ended up being a new to my TBR. This one is just, I'll be honest with you, it's not really a stretch, but it's probably not what I would have used if I didn't have to get this on the TBR. And that's going to be The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. I just picked this up, I think last week maybe, so it is definitely new to my TBR, at least new to my physical TBR, and that's how we're interpreting this, because otherwise I don't think I'd be able to get this on the TBR. It's gonna take me a while. So The Wheel of Time is a very classic fantasy. It's following a group of friends where they are trying to figure out which one of them is the Dragon Reborn. The Dragon Reborn is supposed to overthrow the Dark One and bring the world like back full circle or something along those lines. That's a terrible description of Wheel of Time. That's absolutely terrible. What are you doing, Mel? But I don't have a better one for you because A, I'm only 4 books in and it's like a 14-book series, and B, how do you explain Wheel of Time? But you all know, right? You all know what Wheel of Time's about. So, I'm going to be reading book 4. I'm struggling with the Wheel of Time. I really want to like this one. I've heard for a lot of people that this is the one where they really start to fall in love with the series and fall in with the characters. I'm struggling a little bit with the characters. So yeah, I hope that I love this one. I really want to love this one. Okay, TBR Bluff roll number 4. This board is getting really full, you guys. Okay, so we got a 3, a 4, a 2, a 4, and a 6. So I'm going to keep those 2 4s. Two 1s and another 4. So now we have 3 4s and 2 1s. The 4s are the orange. So I see 4 4s. 3 4s is first person. I don't see 2 4s and 2 1s on the board anymore. So I think we're going to go with 3 1s and do first person. Okay, so for roll number 4, we got 3 4s, and that ended up being first person. For this one, I think I'm going to go with Happy Place by Emily Henry. Happy Place is not the type of genre that you guys usually see me read, but I have read several other of Emily Henry's and enjoyed them. I really like to beach read. I felt like People We Met on Vacation was generally okay, and I did not love Book Lovers, but I've heard really good things about Happy Place. Mom is reading it for one of her book clubs, and she was like, hey, do you want to read it with us? And so I said yes, because I thought that that would be a lot of fun. So I will be reading Happy Place with her. I don't 100% know what Happy Place is about. I know that it is a contemporary. I know that typically her books at least have a splash of romance, even if they're not always contemporary romances, and I'm excited to try another Emily Henry. I'll be honest, if I end up not loving this one, I may consider Beach Read a one-off, and I might not read any more from her, but I do want to give it at least one more try because, like I said, I've generally enjoyed the other books by her, so that's one we're going with. And it's one of the only first-person books that I could quickly find that I needed to read. Okay, TBR Bluff, roll number 5. And remember, we do have one more because I did not finish my TBR. A 5, a 1, 2 2s, and a 4. Okay, so we're going to keep the 2 2s and roll again. Another 2, a 5, and a 6. So now we have 3 2s, which is not on the board anymore. We have 4 2s. Okay, let's re-roll these 2 one more time and pray that I don't regret this. 2 5s. So 2 5s and 2 2s. Is that on the board? It is? No. Is it? Is it? It is! It is! And it's indie. Perfect. Okay, this board is really, really full. This scares me. Okay, so for TBR Bluff roll number 5, we got 2 2s and 2 5s, which ended up being an indie. So for this one, of course, I'm going to do the indie archive pick, which is Crimson Queen by Alex Hudson. I'm very excited to read this with Cassidy and the Patreons. We've not had the best of luck with Indie Archive. It's been a little bit of a struggle for us this year with a lot of DNF'd books and just books that we generally didn't love. We've only, I think, had one live show, and that was for a book that I didn't like and Cassidy liked marginally better than I did. So we're hopeful that this ends up being a win for us. I'll just read you guys the tagline for this one. It says, long ago, the world fell into twilight when the great empires of old consumed each other in sorcerers' cataclysms. In the south, the star towers fell, and it entombed the cities of Min-Sirith into ice and sorcery. Then from the ancient empire of Mechner, the paladins of Amma came, and they put every surviving sorcerer to the sword, cleansing their taint from the land for the radiant glory of their lord. Something of great importance is stolen or freed from the mysterious empire of swords and flowers, and the immortals who survived the ancient cataclysms bestir themselves, casting about for why the world is suddenly changing. That description doesn't tell me a ton, but I'm hopeful. I am excited to read this. I do know that this is one of the first books by Alex Hudson, and so the Umbral Storm is a little bit later. I did have some issues with Umbral Storm's like dialogue, especially in the beginning, but I ended up loving the world so much that it didn't really matter. So I'm hoping that that's the case with this one, that I end up loving the world and loving the characters and just being excited to continue. Okay, so for TBR Bluff, roll number 6 and our final roll. Okay, 2 6s, a 4, a 2, and a 1. So we're gonna hold out the 2 6s. Another 6, a 4, and a 1. So is 3 6s still on the board? It is not. Okay, since 3 6s won't do me any good, we're going to increase my chances and we're going to reroll one of those 6s. So we got another 6, a 4, and a 5. So I think the only thing that I can do is 2 6s, which is a 5-star prediction. Okay, so this is what the board is looking like now. It is really, really full. There's not 5 in a row yet on this board. August may be absolutely terrifying. August is going to be terrifying. Okay, and for our 6th and final roll, I got 2 6s, which ended up being a 5-star prediction. I hate this prompt. I know that this is the prompt that like everybody wants to get. This is the prompt that people love because it means that they get to read a book that they think they're gonna love. I'm not very good at that. I am terrible about making 5-star predictions. I know what I like, but I'm not very good at predicting what I'm going to love. And even then, it's some things that I know that I don't like in books, I end up liking in context of certain ways that they're done, if that makes sense. So 5-star prediction is a really, really hard one for me, but I think that I know what I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to do The Hawking by Rebecca Zahabi. This is the sequel to The Collar Bound, which I read for my last installment of clearing out my TBR, reading off my TBR shelves, and I loved it. I was not expecting to enjoy this book as much as I did, but I did give this one 5 stars, so I'm very hopeful for the next book in the series. The Collar Bound focuses on a very expansive world where we do have mages, and they are trained in this kind of nest, essentially. I don't really know how to describe this book. We have one woman who is a refuge and she's trying to fit in amongst other mages, and then we have Tatters, who is a slave, but he is also a mage and was once part of the rebels. There is a rebellion, there is a little bit of politics. This book was very much a setup book, kind of explaining the world and how the magic system works, and then we did have the rebellion coming in at the end. So I'm very excited to read The Hawking and see how everything continues now that we've kind of gotten the groundwork laid, because the only complaint that I had with this book, and the same complaint that I think a lot of people had with this book, was we just wished it was longer. So I'm very excited to hopefully read The Hawking in July. I am waiting on it to get to me. I ordered the Goldsboro edition to match this edition, but I don't think mine's shipped yet. I hope mine's shipped. I don't actually know, but it's supposed to be on its way to me. It's just coming from the UK, so it could take a little while. Assuming this one comes in, that's definitely my 5-star prediction. Okay guys, so I think those are my 6 books that I'm going to leave on my TBR Bluff for this month. There are a lot of other books on my TBR, a lot of fun plans that I have. The next installment in the publisher battle I want to start working on. I need to do the next in the reading down my TBR, or you guys choose my TBR video. I have a lot of fun things planned. Spiffbo, I do need to continue reading the SPFBO books. So there's a lot of reading to be done in the month of July, but I'm very excited about the books that I currently have on the TBR. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of these books or what your most anticipated book on your July TBR is. If you're just here kind of to hang out, leave me a sun emoji because the sun is out in full force today. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. As always, links to my Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads are all in the description box down below. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!